In social influence, you need to know the situational variables that affect obedience in Milgram's study. The first of these variables is proximity. In one variation of Milgram, the learner was in the same room as the teacher. In this instance, we see the obedience level drop. If the authority figure also gives instructions by phone rather than in person, we also see the obedience drop. This means proximity to either the consequence or the authority figure has an influence on obedience. The second variable that you need to know is location. When Milgram's study was conducted in a less credible location, such as a rundown office block, rather than a prestigious university, we saw obedience reduce. One reason for this is legitimacy of authority, which I'll come to in a moment. There is one final situational variable that you need to know for this section, and that is uniform. The uniform in Milgram's study refers to the white lab coat that the experimenter wore. It suggested that this lab coat indicated status to the participant, the status of the experimenter in this study. When the experimenter didn't wear a white lab coat, we saw obedience reduce, showing the effect of this on legitimacy authority. That brings us to our situational explanations for obedience. These include agentic state and legitimacy of authority. Agentic state is when you obey orders of an authority figure and do not feel responsible for your actions. This is because you have shifted from an autonomous state to an agentic state. Autonomy meaning having independence and free will over your thoughts and actions. In Milgram, the participant didn't feel responsible for administering the final shock as the experimenter was present and took responsibility for that action. The second explanation is legitimacy of authority. People will obey when the person given the orders seems to have perceived status in society and so authority over what they do. In Milgram, the uniform and location demonstrate legitimate authority. The white lab coat and the prestigious university signify to the participant that this is a credible location and a credible experiment. In the exam, try not to get confused between situational variables and situational explanations. You also need to know dispositional explanations, which includes the authoritarian personality. Depending on what type of exam question you get, you could outline these variables and then use the variations of Milgram to support them, or you could use this other evaluation for situational explanations seen here.